We are again. Welcome everyone. We are here to play not a game from us. It's another Brazilian great game that we have here. It's called Dandara or Dandara. I think you cannot speak it in English because it's a given name, right? So it's Dandara. And we're here with João from Longhat's house. Do you want to say a hi to everyone, João?
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Yeah, he's here to talk to us about Dandara's and the Longhat's house history and his history as a developer, multiple things. We usually cover many subjects in these kind of live streams, and this one's not going to be different. Right now, there's something I need to do right here, which I'm not remembering correctly. Yeah, I think I'm cool. Okay, so we got the game here. Let's start playing and chatting about it. Okay, so João, first of all, we always ask developers that come to talk to us, how did they start developing games? Like, how did they get into game development? Because I think that's always an interesting question for those watching. And okay, I just remember what I had to do. But you can like start talking about it while I make this change in Twitch.
All right. We are Longhat House. I mean, we are just two guys. We met each other in the university. And we always talked about, like, we are making computer science, and we always since the beginning, me and Lucas, the other guy, we always talked about making games, and until the end we were survivors talking about that. Like, everyone that was talking went to work with something else. But like in the very last semester, like one of the last, we decided, like, maybe we should try this together, or else we're gonna have to work on IT and fix other people's computers and stuff like that. And we really didn't do any of that, you know? Yeah. And so we started making games together. And the World Cup happened in the same year. I'm not sure if it was the one on Brazil. I don't think it wasn't. And we started, like, making various projects, and one of them is like a mobile game that we like very much, but it isn't on the stores anymore, called Magenta Arcade. And that game got, like, very little bit of praise from the critics. We got finalists in some festivals, and that was it, right? We were thinking, like, well, I guess we have some potential. I mean,
yeah, gotta start somewhere, together. Right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
It felt good. Like, it didn't give us, like, a huge amount of course not, but we we just, like, stayed making games and following it, and made a lot of prototypes, tried some more, and one of them ended up being what is you're playing now, Dandara.
Cool. Was this like a game jam prototype or something like that?
No. We brainstormed it, and cool. we came to this idea that was like another arena shooter, but for mobile phones, like a touchscreen and arena shooter. And the mechanics was based on the jumping, because the jumping was made with a flick of on the touchscreen, like a drag. And it is like this in the final game.
Yeah,
as well, when you're playing on mobile. Yeah, and it started as that, but then in the middle of the development of that prototype, we started adding doors that you can go back and forth. We added, like, two doors, one so like a branching path, and boom, there was it was a Metroidvania now.
All of a sudden, we have a Metroidvania.
Yeah, and yeah, that was it. It was like evolving, and a lot of stuff happened, including we always wanted to make. We started making through mobile games, but it was to start, right? It was a quick way to start. We didn't have to make a campaign like on Steam. You have to make a campaign for Steam Greenlight on that age, right? And we didn't want to do this. We wanted to like make sure we learn how to make quality games first. So we started with the mobile phone because it's easier to get in. But we still like continued to make premium games or games that you pay and you have like a complete experience. So we get experience on that type of game, which was what we wanted to do in the end. And then that was grown a lot during development. We signed with a publisher, a very cool publisher, like a Swedish publisher called Raw Fury.
So just to get it right, you started off Dandara as like it had no campaign at all. Like it was like focused on being very accessible and relatively low cost to do. Was that it, or am I getting it right? Wrong?
Yeah, it's not that we didn't want just to make a campaign for Kickstarter or something like that, but we wanted to not make a campaign at all, just make a game. We didn't want to make a campaign to make a game that we don't know exactly how to make, you know?
Yeah, I get
it. Just like a stepping stone to get to be the developer big, right?
Awesome.
And that's it. But the project grown a lot during development and got to be on consoles like earlier than we anticipated, which was amazing. Like the whole process, very, very amazing.
Curiosity, did you guys do the port to consoles as well, or did you like outsource it?
Initially, we outsourced the PC and mobile like versions of the game were with us, but then we also made the Switch version.
Man, was it hard?
Yes.
Like porting, it's always intense, right?
Like every extra platform is like a little bit harder, but when you add a bunch of them,
especially when you gotta think about it, right? Like you gotta think about it during the design of it. Like, okay, how's this gonna play in any given platform? It's
that's why also the game is so different, right? And because it was born from the mobile, the touch screen, and then got to be also playable on controllers.
That's very good. Curiosity again. Did you guys like Metroidvanias are not exactly a genre that you usually see on mobiles. Like, were you like worried about that at some point?
Actually, we thought it was like an advantage, right? Because there's not many Metroidvanias. Because we really wanted to avoid like having a D-pad on top of the screen and stuff like that. That's really uncomfortable. And when you think about Metroidvanias, you think about platforming games, right?
Yeah. Just
and when we were thinking that we are bringing something new to the touchscreen. Like finally, you can play a Metroidvania on touchscreen. But we discovered that there are some Metroidvanias, some games that can be considered Metroidvanias on the touchscreen. But
yeah, it's genres, right? Like everything you could consider everything today is like very confused.
But it's still like we thought it was an advantage to bring something new.
That's awesome. So yeah, you kind of covered both the history of the game and of the company and of yourself in the same sequence. I think all of them are very connected, right?
Yeah, of course. Like this game has been my life for like 4 to 5 years, right? So,
yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
And okay,
and
so
Lucas' life as well.
yeah, but now talking about Dandara's development itself, you've covered like what you've been through in terms of like choosing the platforms and the decision making in the beginning of it and prototyping and all that kind of stuff. But during the like rough development, once you knew what you were doing, you already knew which kind of platforms did you want to reach, and you had all that covered. What was like the most intense part of the development? Like what was the most costly thing for you, like in terms of time spent and headaches having during the development? Because every type of game has this one point in which you like, this was tough, you know, this was hard, this was intense. What was it for Dandara?
First thing I wanna say, to make it clear, because the game is not actually made only by Lucas and me. Of course, there's a pixel artist called Victor Hill and a musician that did awesome music for this game called Thomas Kaufman. And this game is mostly a four-man team, you know. I want to be clear on that. But
okay, cool.
About that, your question, if you go up 2 rooms, you're gonna see what was probably the biggest headache.
Okay, but from this one,
I'm no, the one.
The one, okay, the one back. Okay, I'm going back. Just to get this. But did you say that in terms of like level design, it was challenging?
Because you're gonna enter a level called the Village of Arty, which is the very first level we did for the game, and that level like shaped the whole game. Like we made it some way because of the mechanics of, and then the mechanics of the game weren't. The levels weren't as good, so we had to iterate on it and redo it. So it got to be another thing, and then the mechanics need to accommodate for it. And we iterated back and forth from the mechanics of the game and this level a lot. So this level is like a lot of prototyping for the game was made with this level, you know. And that is actually the most fun part of the development, like this level right here. And it changed so much, like in art, in narrative, in not only on the mechanics, you know.
I see.
Yeah.
Is it this one right here?
This one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's very complex.
I'm hoping it is, because I'm seeing like the best.
Yeah, but I think it is. I almost died here. By the way, there's one little detail of the game that I really enjoy. Is that when you get hit, you stand in the air for a while. This is lovely. Like I love these small ideas, you know, small decisions that just make a hell of a lot of difference. You know, it just it's awesome to feel somewhat safe while you're recovering yourself from the hit. Because the game can get chaotic, and it's good to have like a small moment of relief in the middle of it. So yeah, this game's full of this actually. Like it's full of very small but intelligent and well-designed decisions.
Thanks, man. Yeah, stuff like that like got redesigned a lot.
Yeah, it just shows iterations, right?
You don't make a smooth like learning curve as most as possible, you know.
Yeah, and but that kind of thing shows like how much iteration you got into the game. That's very interesting to observe. Oh, and this. Oh yeah, I can recover my body. I didn't remember that.
Yeah, it's an actually very like a programming secret. If you touch instead of shooting it, it heals you. So it's like a breadcrumb, you know. If you die, you always have a free heal on the way to where you were before.
Oh, cool.
But there's a very hidden thing. Like,
yeah, that's very cool.
Many people finish the game without noticing that.
I was watching a review about like a random review from a channel that I follow, and it was commenting like these small things about interface and I don't know, like the small details in usability that people literally have hundreds of hours in the game and they do not know that, you know, they do not realize it exists.
Yeah, yes, but that's the best ones, right?
Yeah, totally.
That it still feels like it's you who is totally responsible for being good in the game.
Oh, the auto aim in this game is so good.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a lot of iteration on it.
Yeah, it shows like it's just so good. I can just trust my guts, you know, my guts feeling while controlling it. It's very cool. And okay, so let me stop like talking good things about the game because I'm just gonna
all right.
Yeah. Let me just ask you one thing. And after the release of it, how is it like? Was it this like was this the first like major release that you had? You said that you released a small game once.
Yeah, Magenta Arcade was. Yeah, but the Magenta Arcade are other like very small, like one of those games that sleeps on the App Store and then nobody knows about it. There's
Classic,
a lot of
right?
those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one is the first anything, like it changed our lives for sure, right? It appeared on the very first Indies review with Nintendo when Nintendo revealed that there are gonna be indie games on Switch. Dandara appeared there, like that was the size of it. It was amazing from the ground up, and some people talked about the game, like the Time magazine even. And
the Times magazine?
Time, it's Time, not Times.
Oh, okay.
But that one's pretty good too.
Yeah, wow.
And that was amazing. I mean, could be better, of course, but for us, for our second game, like I said, it really changed our lives, and it's amazing. I'm really grateful for it.
Oh, that's awesome. Like, what was the best thing after releasing the game? What was the best feeling of it? I try to ask these kind of questions. It's kind of weird, but it's just that I feel like we as developers, we are very emotionally attached to games, and to our job in general. So when you're talking about it, you know, being an engineer, you don't ask him like, what was the best thing in this project? You know, it's kind of weird.
What is the best thing about this bridge?
Yeah. It's like, oh, come on, like we were engineering this car. How did you feel about it? You know, it's just the kind of thing you don't ask. But when it comes to art and video games in general, we were very, very emotionally attached. So I like to ask, what was the best thing during and after the release of the game, just to make it clear, I think, to the people watching that there's, you know, that there's all this effort that we've covered here, like all the iteration and all the changes that it did to the game and all the I don't know, the work that it had to put into it, but there's also this very good feeling of like making something this wonderful, you know. Like, so how was it? What was the best feeling you had?
I think Dandara has two things that really like forms forms my expectation, right? Because the story of the game is open-ended, and it invites you to interpretation, right? Like, it is not like obvious, and it's very mysterious, has this very mysterious air over it, and it's so awesome when someone like tries to interpret it, even making a text, like a huge text. It happened like one text, I guess, one or three texts, I don't know, something very small, and like 2 videos. And
or people like trying to figure out the meaning.
Well,
of the story.
what was the game about, and
cool.
like getting together all the references and figuring it out, and like
that's very cool.
That's very awesome to see someone putting effort on it, and also speedrunners, right? Is the opposite.
Oh yeah,
it's the very speedrunning like viable game.
Yeah, it is.
And when people do speedruns, I love it. I think I watched it first. I don't know. Personally, I really like it. Both of those things. Like there's a video of Overloader, I think, where Ricky Sampaio, this guy, tries to interpret the game, and I showed it to my mom, and it made my mom cry. You know.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was amazing.
Oh, that's very cool. I think it's kind of hard for parents to really understand what we do.
Yeah, it's
sometimes hard because
easier when you do this through the story of the game, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Because sometimes I get to talk to my mother or my father about the games that I do, and they look at me and they want to be like, you know, they feel happy and congratulate.
Yeah, they want to know what's going on.
Yeah, but they don't really get it. You know, like if I try to say, oh, I created a game with this mechanic that's so cool, you won't believe it. And they will be like, okay, cool, good, but they don't get it, you know. But when you get into stories and
visuals as well.
and visuals and emotional impact that it gets into, that, you know, touches other people's hearts that are more maybe similar to more common media, right? Like movies or books or stuff like that. I think it's more relatable to them. But that's awesome.
Yeah, but of course, like people who writes up, I don't know, a Steam review or writes an email talking about like they like the game. I love it. Like makes it worth, right?
Yeah, it's just exactly. It just I feel like it pays everything off. Like when you feel it, that people enjoyed what you did, what you spent so much time working on.
Yeah, it's like so there's something very unique about video games. When you, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna know in a second.
Yeah, I'm not that good.
But
it's feeling good.
It's
but
like that's it. And when you see someone playing your game, and the person's like happy, or like if they get emotionally changed because of the game, you get a sense of empathy, you know.
True.
Like a really greater sense of empathy than to anything else ever. And when the person's like sad or frustrated, you get frustrated like in double as well.
That's true.
So it's very. So it's at least for me, it's very emotional. Like thing like this, and you died. I've seen that you died right now. You're like, damn it! I'm more frustrated than.
Yeah, I'm just bad at these games, guys. I'm bad at games. That's reality. I try to fake it and pretend
it's a hard game.
I can play something, but I cannot.
It's a very hard game anyway. Yeah. So.
I'm just very persistent. That's the thing. I'm just persistent as hell. That's why I get to actually finish so many games, because if depending on my skills, I'll be ruined. Anyway, so okay, I got to this point. This is okay. I forgot where my body is. This is my body, I suppose. The shiny blue thing. Right?
Yeah, because I'm gonna see in a second.
Yeah, but I believe I'm correct. Yeah, I think it's. Oh.
Yeah, it's your spirit.
Okay.
Your ghost. You call it ghost internally.
Yeah, it's the opposite of my body. It's my spirit, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, don't kill me, guys. Do not kill me. Okay, cool. I'm cool.
Good. You're playing
yeah,
very...
I did well. I did well. Getting better, I think.
This game you actually have to play very cautiously. You have to like not you know, don't have to like go really fast and skip the enemies. If you play very cautiously, you're gonna win everything.
Right. Oh, there's one thing I wanted to ask. Like ever since I started playing this, I looked at the references that you guys put in here.
Oh, like the Vaporu we just saw, right?
Yeah, exactly, and all these very Brazilian references, like Brazilian related to, I don't know, art in general, artists, or anything that's very Brazilian. What was the opinion of like foreign players? Players from other countries?
Got cut a bit. What?
Oh, sorry. Okay, so you guys have a lot of references to popular Brazilian culture here, right? So paintings, artists, and stuff like that. What did people from other countries that do not know necessarily all these artists, like how did they see that that aspect of the game? Did they saw it as a lore of the game itself and found it interesting? Did they connect to it? Did they not connect to it? How was that? Because I feel like many game developers in Brazil, they try to achieve that, you know, they try to inspire themselves in things that are very Brazilian, like make a game about, I don't know, the original people, like indigenous people,
or making folklore.
Yeah, or making it based on folklore. But I think that it's hard to reach international audience when you like focus so strongly in that. Like, how did you strike the balance of like making a game approachable to anyone while still having it being very Brazilian? And like, how did the international players, like the players from all around the world, perceive that?
So that's a very cool question. The main, like, unfortunately, as game developers, we have to talk internationally, right?
Yeah.
Or else we don't, or else it's impossible to be sustainable.
Totally.
So we totally made this for not only for them, but thinking about their experience, right? We wanted their experience to be very good. So as the game is like an exploration game, we want to explore. We felt that if you used like some Brazilian reference to things and got from some, it's not from our culture per se, but from what you see on the streets, from personally, more personally, like by proxy, it would be the Brazilian culture because we are here, right? So we try to get, because there are not only Brazilian references on this level even, but we all felt like it would feel kind of alien to the international player or something. And it's a game about exploration, right? You want to make. So that's I always want. Yeah, it's always something like we always wanted something like Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, okay, cool.
Where Alice is like, she sees absurd thing after absurd thing, but all of the things are like they communicate with each other. Like they're not totally random. They coexist, right? And if you take something like we see on the streets, the things normally coexist because it is part of the same culture, it's part of the same place you are picking up from. So yeah, we wanted to evoke the same feeling.
Awesome.
Alice in Wonderland, and at the same time, like Brazilians had a very different experience of it, which is good for exploration too. Like, oh my God, I'm seeing for the first time myself or the environment I'm from in a game, or the second time, I don't know. And and I want to see more. I want to explore and find what's next, right?
Okay, so it was kind of like a double-edged sword in a good sense. Like it was good for Brazilians that they had some relatedness to the project, but it was also interesting for those that did not get the references themselves as something like alien that they wanted to investigate or learn more about it.
Yeah, and something that feels like has a structure, has a story behind, or something like that.
Awesome.
Dandara manages to achieve, at least in part. I don't know. I try to believe it did, right? But also we see like American people, foreigners, researching about Tarsila do Amaral and Dandara dos Palmares, learning about our history and being very interested in our history, because again, that's very positive as well.
That's amazing.
It's hard to measure, right? How was the experience that something can talk about for international, for the foreigners, but I can only make conjectures. I think that's what happened, and people do report that they found the world of Dandara curious, mysterious, and
awesome,
inviting, right? So
yeah, because that's what we get, right? Like when we release a game, we're not 100% sure of what's happening, or what's the players' opinions, but we kind of read the reviews and, you know, try to build this image of like what they're actually thinking and what they're trying to say. But yeah, that's all we have. But that's very cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
And another question, that one is very
yeah, I really want to like continue making like even more like deep things about Brazil, like putting them on the game and stuff like that, making them research. I really liked how the reaction was.
Awesome.
Would be nice to keep doing it, I think.
Cool. And do you think that it would translate well to other genres, for example?
Sorry?
Do you think that this kind of language... Oh my god, ooh, I did not die. Okay, cool. Do you think that like having references and having this very Brazilian influenced, I don't know, I'm losing the
references,
word right now.
metaphors.
Yeah, no, I mean the whole world, you know, I'm trying to say ambientação, but I'm losing the word. Anyway. Yeah. So
I don't know the word either.
I totally forgot it. But anyway, so do you think that this kind of like mood and ambiency, I guess that's the word, is like compatible to other kind of genres and games in general? Like, because I suppose you're not necessarily making
an exploration
game directly, right? You might want to try another type of game or whatever, now that you've just released an expansion for this. And so do you think it's gonna be compatible? I don't know.
I think so. Like there's a lot, because in Dandara we don't explain anything, but we don't require people to know Brazilian culture before. That's why it's mysterious. But I think you can do it without being mysterious, trying to like showing world building without showing the whole thing. And it's not about mystery anymore. It's just about like having a concrete space that seems like it, or something like that, which can apply to every genre, I guess. Even something like sports. You can make like a soccer game that's all on Brazil. Show bit of, I don't know. It's to say, right?
This is a very intense part. Sorry if
I
seem like I'm not paying attention. I am. It's just that it's a very intense part, and I remember I died multiple times the last time I've been here. So
Sorry.
I'm very scared right now. But I think I'm gonna be able to deal with it. Please turn. Okay. Yeah, done. Cool.
But I think those can apply in a way that you can make world building and stuff like that, and talk about something like in your life, right? Talk about something real.
It's like almost personal.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh my god. Okay, cool. I'm alive. Woo! I think I'm better at this game.
I think you can be authentic. That's the word. That's a good word.
Cool.
Because Lucas actually dated a girl from Czech Republic. That's very and he went to Czech Republic a couple of times. It was a long distance relationship. I'm sure his personal life, but yeah. But I have a point.
Okay, you're not just talking about his personal life for no reason.
Yeah,
okay.
For nothing. And he told me like on Czech Republic, on Prague, right? People live just next to castles and like shopping malls around castles and museums. Everything's kind of medieval in the city, and you can really start to imagine like pretty easy that people live there, like the heart coming through, the smell of the things, how the temperature was, how the people treat each other. You can start to imagine way more authenticity than we can.
Yeah, true.
Know?
Totally.
So it's just a question for us to be authentic and not be like a product from other products, you know. It would be just harder for us, I think. And while making a Brazilian thing or something that happened in Brazil, it's closer to us, and at the same time when indie games are like very saturated and a lot of games, people want new stuff all the time. I think you're almost dying.
I died. I just died, but it's okay. It's part of it. But I get it. I totally get your point. Oh, but now I do not have what I need to go there. I need to go to the long way here. Yeah.
But you can turn right on the level, the very intense level with the shooting guys and the ice, and that's the way actually.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Just helping you.
Just go real quick. I don't have to go all the way through it. Is that it? Am I in the right place? I think I am. Yes, I am. Okay, cool. Die, little fella.
All right.
Okay, go back. Don't die. Eventually, I'll get good at this. Get good. I had one last question. Okay, it doesn't necessarily need to be the last one, but now that you're done, I mean, you've released Dandara, and you like apparently enjoyed the post-release so much that you wanted to keep working on it, right? You wanted to keep enhancing the game. And then you decided to have this expansion. How was this decision of like continuing to develop the game, and why did you keep on working on it? And what is the story behind this expansion?
So we had to cut some things, of course, to make the game sustainable, right? And we had to cut like this stuff that we always wanted to do, and we had to cut a lot of, and we were quite sad. I don't know, like we were quite sad about that. But okay, all right. Every game has to have some cutting or something like that. And while after we launched it, we like there was the reception, right? There was a lot of fair criticism about the game that we felt like, damn it, maybe some of those can be fixed with more levels, like going intertwined with the game. We can do it, and we can have our second secret ending at the same time. And after some time, we spent, like, after launch, we spending doing some quality of life updates before making, like, there was the easy mode and the hard mode before the update came out. And then we started working on it, and it was pretty cool. Like, we planned for like one level, but we got carried out and made 3. So
oh yeah, classic.
It took a bit more time than we imagined, but I think the game is now closed with a golden key. That's a a Brazilian expression.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very good state.
Yeah.
And I think you're.
But
it's awesome to be able to at least keep working on something you love to make it better, right? So
yeah, and we didn't want to make a sequel just by mechanics, but we also wanted to push the mechanics a bit more, you know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So expansion felt like that.
And now that you've finished it, oh god. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die here. I'm 100% sure I'm gonna die. Oh my god! So many. Okay.
I'm not seeing. I'm imagining.
I need. I'm in a very intense spot.
But that's don't move. Nobody hits most of the time. It's not 100% guarantee, but if you don't move, nobody hits.
Oh, if you don't move, you don't get hit.
Yeah, most of the time.
Because you're always moving. Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, and they aim at the place you were before.
Okay, that almost killed me, but I get your point. It's a. Oh my god, I almost died again. Okay. No,
you can use your healing potion. You just press B.
What? Do I have a healing potion?
Yeah.
Oh, I do have a healing potion.
Yes.
Hell yes! Why did I never use this before?
Not even the mobile.
Oh, I know. I don't recall it. I don't recall I having. Oh my god! Why? I have a very sad story with like potions in general. I tend not to use them like ever because like, I always think there's gonna be a more important situation to use them. And
yeah, but when you're on one heart.
Yes, and you're almost dying. You
that's a situation.
Yeah, that's definitely a situation.
But you should go up. You gotta get another, I guess.
Yeah, I know, but I'm very completionist. I have a problem with leaving enemies.
Totally should have made an achievement. We totally should have. To kill all of these guys.
Yeah, because they're pain. Okay, awesome. I went through. That's cool. I gave up on my completionism and now playing this correctly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And now that you've released the expansion, and now that you have the game in a golden stage, what's next?
Well, I don't know. We're just having ideas, but they are just bars, like bar talk, for now. Because like all this coronavirus madness happened right after we launched the game.
With that, right? How to have plans with a pandemic outside?
Exactly, and well, we can't like meet. We just talk via calls and stuff like that, which slowed us down for the new ideas part. But we are making the physical edition, right, for this game.
Oh, that's amazing. Are you like dealing with box art and stuff like that?
With what? Sorry?
The box art.
Box art?
Box art. Like
the box art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you the ones responsible for that? Or you
we asked someone, a Canadian girl, to do it.
Awesome.
To do the art that you see on the game on most stores. That's gonna be the box art. But
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like do a lot of art for the physical edition.
Yeah, because the physical edition has this this different. It's not just about the game, right? It's about like showing the passion that you have for the game, that you like it so much that you want to have a physical edition. So it has a different mentality in it.
Yeah, it has a whole different value.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Like that's a very good thing to, you know, a problem to have, so to speak. It's not a problem itself, but it's something you have to deal with. But it's good, right? It's very
I know you're that as of, so we are focusing on that because of the quarantine and not thinking about the next game just yet.
Yeah, and I think in times of quarantine, we mentioned briefly the idea of, like, before we started streaming, I was chatting with João, and we were talking about like how important it is to have a team comfortable and happy with the project they're on.
Yes.
And it's very hard to be comfortable and happy while you're quarantined, you know? Like,
yeah.
You have to take that in consideration before like rushing to a next project and, you know, start working like crazy. It's good to have maybe some time to chill a bit.
And we've been working on this game non-stop. Has been 4 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
We are really wanting like to travel and go to the beach or something like that. But yeah, some things, right? Yeah,
definitely. Well, I think I might die here again. But before I do so, I just wanna like thank you very much for coming here and for all the help with the live stream.
Thank you for inviting me. Really, it was really nice.
Yeah, it's very awesome to have this chance of chatting with other developers, and not only like getting to know more about their projects, because, you know, games like these, they're just amazing. It's awesome to hear about the story and all that went behind the scenes. But it's also very good to connect with other developers, especially in Brazil. We gotta like make this connection even stronger. You know, we don't know what else we're gonna face. We're facing a pandemic. We're facing, sometimes government just does not want to help us do anything. So it's good to have each other's back.
Yes, I totally agree.
And it's good to have this opportunity of chatting. I'm gonna stop streaming right now because I'm a bit sleepy today, and I think I'm just very embarrassed of my of how I'm playing this. No, just kidding. I'm better than I thought I would be.
Yeah.
I figured I would die like multiple times already, and I just died like twice. So it's cool. It's cool. But I think we're good. Thank you very much for chatting, for coming. Thanks for everything, for all the help, all the chatting, and thank you all that are watching for coming as well. I hope you enjoyed watching Dandara, and I hope you enjoyed the chat about it. And João, do you wanna like make your jabá now? Like, you wanna
sure, you can find us. Whatever. We're gonna announce, hopefully we're gonna announce something in the second semester. I don't know. I'm not gonna say any dates. We're gonna announce something soon. And just at Long Hat House on everything, like on Facebook. I'm gonna type in on the live stream. On Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. Even though Instagram we don't use at all, but then you can follow us there. Yeah. And thanks again for the opportunity.
Awesome. No, it was a real pleasure. Do you guys have like a Discord server?
A Discord server? No, but Ralph Fury has one to join the fans of the game. Ralph Fury is our publisher.
Okay, cool. If you want to send the link in the chat as well, feel free to do so, so people can find more about the game.
All right, just give me a second. I will find it. I found it. There you go.
Red Links is screwing with you, like sending a message saying you guys want to have some time off. But anyway, okay, so I think the chat did not allow the link. Do you want to send me right now the link? I think I can post it.
All right.
But I think other people.
I sent you.
Yeah. Okay, so Raw Fury. All right, let me see if it works. Yeah, it does. Okay, so that's the link for the Discord of not necessarily of Dandara, but Dandara is within the Discord, right?
Exactly.
So
and I think they're gonna announce another Brazilian game soon. Look, first. Yeah, you're gonna see. So
okay,
nice.
Very cool. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had a good time. And until next week, bye bye.
See ya. Thank you all.